Let's get back and talk about cost for a moment. The cost and the time it takes to produce a system. I mean, two of the interesting things in the B-29 program. One is it was a more expensive program in World War II than the Manhattan Project was. It was like $1 billion put against it very early on. Yeah. And the second thing is it was a very short time from kind of conception to production, like about 4 years. And General LeMay co-authored a history of the B-29 when he was in retirement, and he lamented, and then this was several decades ago, he was lamenting how long it now took to develop systems compared to then. Could you explain a little how you and your colleagues thought about cost and timelines for developing systems and what you wanted to look at?
At that time, the cost and timelines were not outrageous. Our general concept was that the horizon, the technology horizon, the environment, world environment horizon, the political, using the political term as a positive thing, that horizon was 5 to 7 years. That's as far as you can see. And so our objective was to field a useful increment of military capability in 5 to 7 years, and then use spiral development from that point. So if you look at that, well, we fielded the B-1B in 5 years, 6 years actually. We fielded the F-15, F-14, F-16, F-18 in 6 to 7 years. Well, we fielded the A model. And then technology matured. We had them in the hands of the troops, and they were learning what's really important about the system, what's missing. We could stay up with changes in the world environment, and then you could build the B model, and the C model, and the D model. The poster child is the F-16. We are today producing Block 60 F-16s. And if you had described the Block 60 F-16 to me when I was one of the 5-member team on the lightweight fighter, which became the F-16A, I would have said, number one, you're out of your mind. You can't possibly put that capability in this airplane. And number two, can't imagine why I'd want to. This is my low-end fighter. So the point is, whenever you begin to drive the timeline outside of your horizon, then things are going to get expensive, and you're going to have difficulty keeping up. So we fielded the F-15E, reached IOC 14 years after the F-15A. But we've been flying the F-15A for all those years, and the F-15C. And so the airplane cost incrementally more and took about 5 years to field that. So we're not talking about acquisition, so I'll get off the soapbox. But I would repeat that when your development timeline exceeds your horizons, then I think you are going to be disappointed. Of course, you'd expect it to take somewhat longer than a B-29. I don't need to say something about General LeMay's attitude towards ICBMs, because he told me this personally. He had the reputation, or he had people writing histories that said he was against the ICBM. He tells me that's not true. He said, I'm always for what works. And he said, we fielded this thing. In the first place, we had failure after failure after failure after failure. At a time when you were allowed to have failures and still proceed. He said, we fielded this thing out in the plains of Kansas. It was liquid fueled, and you had to elevate it and take you about a day to get it ready, and uncertain accuracy. And he said, people were trying to get me to give up bombers for that. He said, no way. So then I looked at the Poseidon missile, and people wanted me to give up bombers for that, and I said, no way. He said, but then we fielded the Minuteman. He said, then we developed the Minuteman. And Bernie Schriever convinced me that this was an effective weapon, and this is one you're going to like, LeMay. He said, and I did. And then I became a strong supporter of ICBMs. Said, people expected me to support a dream. So I don't support dreams. I support capability. Well, that's LeMay.
One of the things people frequently cite is the B-52 program and how long it's been around. As I recall, the last production model was in the early 1960s, probably during the Cuban Missile Crisis period. Now, that's not really spiral development, is it? How would you describe?
Well, it is in a way.
Okay.
It's not spiral airframe development, but you know, you remember we had, what, 3,000 B-47s, carried a bomb, one-way missions. Then we started developing B-58, and we never really fielded it. And I asked General LeMay, I said, General LeMay, why did you cancel the B-58? Mach 2 bomber? He said, too damn little. And what he meant was not enough adaptability. So the B-52 was LeMay's bomber. He wanted a bomber that would allow him to adapt to what he knew was a changing future. And you know, we went through several models before we got to the D. The D was the first series production. So if you look at the B-52H and compare that to the D, it looks the same, but there's no comparison. You know, if you look at the capabilities of the B-52H. The other thing, little known fact, you know that in terms of lifetime, that the B-52H is newer than the Boeing 757. That is, the B-52H has more life remaining in the airframe than the Boeing 757, which you ride on a lot and you think, boy, this is a new airplane. Because it was built to last, and it was built with lots and lots of extra strength and capability. And then we modified it for low-level penetration by reskinning the wings and decided we're not going to do that anymore. So now it has a 50-year wing on it. So I think you'll see that very versatile airplane, which is not going to penetrate high-threat environments. It can certainly carry something that can do that, but it's not going to do that. It's just a adaptable, enormously useful airplane. F-15 is that kind of airplane. You know, it's big, it's tough, lots of power. At one time, the motto for the F-15 was not 1 pound per air to ground. And the Chief of Staff announced, the day this airplane goes over a loaded combat weight of 40,000 pounds, I will find the SOB responsible and kick his butt out of the Air Force. We flew that airplane at 39,700 pounds on us. Years later, I lifted off in an F-15, 81,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Same airframe, same engines, and it did fine at 81,000 pounds. So adaptability in the B-52, adaptability in F-15 comes from building adaptability in. When you build special purpose airplanes or special purpose things, then that's what they're going to do, whatever you build them for.